acknowledge the blessing wound. They blind cause they been lied to. Forgive their mother for they do not know you about to rise. You let me know, I'll be down to ride, right by your side. It's gonna be alright. You let me know, I'm not in a rush, and you I will trust. That is a must.
Open the floodgates, let it rain, Hail Mary, oh soon. We floating on them shrooms, let the Father know that the bride be ready soon. We bout to jump this broom, blessing.
Greetings, whole ones and purple beings from all around the world. This is your girl, the Purple Prodigy, Big P, not the little one. And I want to welcome everybody into the introduction of the wonderful world of the Purple Print Podcast. Period. And I am so thankful to Layla and the Deep Spacecraft for providing a healthy, warm space for me to very much pour into this beautiful, wonderful opportunity. For so long, I've been like really deeply interested and fascinated with podcasts. Like, it's such a healing thing for me, just like, and podcasts can come in like many different forms, like through audio and in person. And I want to, me and Purple Oracle have really decided, and this has been like pre-planned for like many months. Like, even it was going on like probably like earlier this May or April. Like, I really felt so, just like I felt called to like wanting to do like a podcast, especially with Purple Oracle. And I just feel like we both Gemini, so we both have a very dual perspective, like a very advanced perspective on a lot of things. And considering the fact that we are like our birthdays a day apart, and just like I just feel like we have something very special to really much contribute into this space when it comes to this podcast. And I'm interested. Like, I just like to, because with me, like, I like to talk people's ears off. Like, yes, like, and it's all for like good reasoning. And I love to learn from a lot of people, and very much, it doesn't even matter. Like, people talk about their personal things, talk about what goes on in the world, what they learn. It's just very much, just very beautiful. It's a beautiful thing just to sit back and like get like just like take on a journey. And a lot of times I like to imagine everything that is being said. Like, I like people doing podcasts in person, but it is different through audio, where you're not seeing the person. You really much, they painting the perspective, and you have to really much imagine everything, and very much, it helps really much build the imagination and through audio. And I just feel like this is the perfect thing to do. Like, and I did a podcast before, like, I think given 2 years ago with one of my previous Soul Tribe members. And shout out to her, I don't want to say her name, but it was like a little test drive with that one. But it abruptly stopped later on. And I learned so much from doing that previous podcast that it's like to the point I want to do it again in a different headspace, especially like with my community, my siblings, my purple siblings. And it's just like to the point I'm just grateful that I know what I know, and I learned what I learned going in my life and stuff like that, going through things in my life. And I think for an introduction of this podcast, I really want to really much set the tone of really much the things leading up in the next episodes. And I really wanted to start with the topic of my personal experience. I don't want to get too much in depth about it because I'm telling you, child, it's layers upon layers. But what I can do is I can just give you like here and there, little point, little teaser trailers of what I was going through, leading me up to this space and joining Layla and Layla, and also joining the Purple Thought and all of that good stuff. So pretty much, I want to start where because I grew up in Chicago. Yeah, if you know, you know. Very infamous reputation. I know, like murder capital. Yeah, yeah. Great food, great entertainment, all of that. Drill music. So pretty much, I don't want to bash Chicago. I don't want to bash my hometown because I feel like just like any other place, like it has its beautiful moments, it has its traumatic moments. It comes with a lot. Like I'm not gonna be one sided about it. Like I just hold space for just so many things going on at once, and that is basically Chicago. Like Chicago is a hot ass mess. I'm gonna keep it a buck, but I have beautiful memories. And even growing up in Chicago, because I didn't grow up in the city all the way. I was born in the city, and then like my mom divorced my dad, so she took me and my three older brothers to the suburbs, and I later, what I'm saying, I grew up in the suburbs until like when I was around 14. At 15, I moved back to the city because I wasn't see. It's like not even seeing eye to eye, but I just when it comes to relationship between me and my mom at that time, even my stepdad that she married, it was greatly traumatic. Like, that's a whole nother conversation within itself. But it was getting to a motherfucking point. It was my mental health was in jeopardy being in that space. So I really had to move. Thank you to my cousins. So the backstory of what happened, how I moved back into the city was pretty much it was around the time like 2012 where I was done with my freshman year and I was about to enroll back into my sophomore year of high school. And pretty much during them times, I made an Instagram post very much venting about my feelings. And mind you, like the dynamic is um at that time my auntie and her two daughters, and she did have an oldest son that was moving around a lot. He'll come by um, my grandparents' house on my dad's side like time to time, but he'll stay somewhere else for a lot period. So this period, it was just pretty much the three of them. So my auntie, my oldest cousin, and her little sister, and basically her little sister was older than me. So pretty much I'm gonna call them the oldest is the Leo cousin, her little sister was the Sag cousin. So it was like my Sag cousin followed me on Instagram and she seen the post and basically she told my auntie. So both my cousins went down the street to tell my grandmother on my mom's side and concerned about what's going on, and they related to my mom and conversations that was had. And basically, my little cousin introduced the idea that I should move in with them um, on my dad's side, my grandparents' house, and continue to finish off, my terms being in school, what I'm saying, where they was at because my Leo and my Sag, because they went to a school that was close by in the city, and my Sag cousin was a senior, and my Luke was already graduated. So I was so that just lead me just to finish off my school years there. And pretty much my mom was at first in disagreement with it, and basically later she gave in and basically put the okay, but it was at a point my auntie had to become my legal guardian for me to really much transfer to that school. pretty much. And basically, that's the story about how I moved from the suburbs and moved back into the city permanently. They really helped me really much transfer to that school and move to Chicago and all that good stuff. And mind you, like both my grandparents live down the street from each other, so that's very interesting. So pretty much, I grew up in the city after that, and pretty much around 2022, yeah, I was going through life there, and pretty much I was granted a beautiful opportunity, a financial opportunity, allegedly. I don't want to get into details about that, but it was enough to really much help me to move. And mind you, I actually did want to move like the year before, but I wasn't able to. So this go around the next year, 2022, I was able to move. Um, it was so much going on at that period of my life. Um, it was like to the point I was side eyeing so much of my because I've lived with my family all my life. I knew family, like I had friends and stuff, but it was at time I was cutting a lot of friends off. Um, a lot of family around me. It's a lot, but my grandfather on my dad's side he passed in 2020, so basically that just led me just me, my auntie, my cousin, one of her daughters, and my grandmother, and we was all basically under one roof, and yeah, and pretty much this is around the time where I'm realizing not even just them but even other family members, next door neighbors that I consider family, all of that, not everybody but majority of people was fake. They was fake as fuck. They was playing my motherfucking face, and pretty much I was very miserable at that time. I was like I was very depressed because I didn't like the energy. I just didn't like waking up every day to bullshit. And it's just, it's things that I'm not even speaking on that contribute that I don't want to get into, but pretty much you can get it. Um, it was time for me to go. It was time for me to go. And I'm setting boundaries. This amount of time, I cut my mom and my immediate family on my mom's side off. And 2022, my other grandfather on my mom's side just passed around the time when I was cutting because I realized they was playing my face too. Both sides was playing my motherfucking face for the most part. It wasn't all my family, but it was good. Like I said, a good majority of them that I was consistently around. And I had to go. And my dad actually helped me, you know what I'm saying, move all my stuff, my auntie and my I'll just call her she like a family friend, but she is considered family, another one of my aunties. They helped me transfer my stuff to the Greyhound and I moved to Dallas. Like Dallas wasn't my first option. It was actually I don't wanna say which where. But Dallas was another one that kind of like the last decision, and pretty much I found a very affordable, reasonable apartment, and they helped me move to the Greyhound, my stuff, and I just took the bus down there, just with me and my stuff. And by the time I got to my apartment, and mind you, this is my first time being out on my own. I'm at a point where I cut all of my family off. So I want to intervene before I continue, you know what I'm saying, talking your ears off for the rest of this podcast. Pretty much the only family that I was in consistent contact with when I moved down there was my Leo cousin, the oldest cousin. And pretty much I felt like she probably was the only person of the family that I can trust because child, we had the most closest relationship. And mind you, like my Sag cousin um had her own place, her own apartment at that time, all of this. And pretty much my little cousin stayed with more consistent in my grandparents' house, especially after my grandfather passed. So it was just like my auntie, her, and my grandma and me pretty much under one roof. So, and mind you, I had more um, fun, good times with my Leo cousin. So that really like adds to that. But I am peeping like she can be used as a flying monkey, but I haven't really realized this. Like I still am focusing on the beautiful parts, but not focusing on the reality of what's really giving type shit. And it was some family I didn't have bad blood with, but I did feel like they was will be considered a flying monkey to people that I didn't fuck with in the family. They may not know everything that's going on between me and the relationships, but of course, the people I didn't fuck with can paint them a narrative really easy. And mind you, I don't talk with that. I don't talk with them a lot, so they are going to by default take their side over me. So it's like to the point. By that, I have to cut a lot of my family like that off. The people I didn't fuck with, the people that I really much peep. I read the fuck out of my dad. I cut him off. He did some bullshit. And pretty much I was out on my own. And pretty much so I did have some of my chosen family at that time that I was talking with, like, and I did have, I was talking with other people that just entered my life when I moved down there, and they was playing my face. Not my soul family. It was a soul family member. It was only like one, and I consider her like at that time a soul mama. So to the point, we was in the same boat spiritually, and pretty much the other one, he was playing my face. He was doing some bullshit behind the scenes, and I caught on. So another conversation, but pretty much the fast forward, I was I was in Dallas, and I stayed in my apartment for 8 months, and I was doing my YouTube content. I was like doing, of course, like I was working from home and doing all of that, and at a certain point, after like the 6 or 7 months, I wasn't able to keep up with the rent. I'm gonna get about like financially, I was trying to, handle some things, but it did not work out, and I got evicted. I'm gonna keep it up. I got evicted, and basically I got kicked out. All my stuff got thrown out, all that shit. So I'm by myself. And mind you, I did have family that was in Dallas too, but I did not reach out to them when I moved down there, just for the simple motherfucking fact that I did not want to get back in connections with the same family that I just didn't fuck with, because I know they had close ties with those certain family members, and I didn't want to have nothing to do with them. Like to the point, I had to really much put my mental health first. So mind you, like, thank you to God Goddess, thank you to my spirit guides, my angels, Orishas, ancestors. Hey, period. That mean well for me. Like, shout out to all of them. Shout out to my high self. Shout out to for like really much helping me, like sending people my way to help, assist me during that time. And pretty much I was moving after that. I was moving from motel to motel, and I went from Dallas, and then I went over to Mesquite, and then pretty much I was staying in a motel over there, and I still had some finances, but motels don't run cheap. So pretty much I was out my ass outside. I still had stuff. Like I had all of my stuff, and mind you, I had to move. I had like clothes, you name it. Like I had a big ass TV that I had to move, and I moved it in this secret little area. Not really secret, but area nobody be around. And it got to a point where all my shit got stolen. Like I left it outside. I left in that spot. I moved around in Mesquite, that little area. It was a lot of fast foods, all of that areas I can go to and chill. And I check on it, and it was one time I checked on it, all the shit was gone. And a lot of personal things like my ID, social, laptop, everything got taken. And mind you, like I just knew how risky it was just leave my stuff outside, and it was in a secure area. Like it was a lot of bush. It was like in this. I put in this area where a lot of bushes was able to cover it really perfectly. But I had so much stuff, and I had two book bags, and what the book bag that I carry, that's for like personal things. I wanted to carry light, and I made sure that I checked periodically, like pretty much every hour or every other hour, just to check on and make sure everything good. So I'm over assuming that my personal things, like my ID, my social things, was in my main book bag the whole time. It was in my other book bag with all my other things. So when I'm over here checking my main bag, looking for my personal things, whole time it was with my other stuff. And by the time I was looking for really much all my things, it went poof, it went gone. Because somebody took every motherfucking thing. And child, I gagged. I gagged really hard when that motherfucker happened. And pretty much I had no type of identification. Like child. But I had my own book bag always with me. I did have like my phone and things. Thank you, God got this, because I left in my book bag with me. But everything was gone. I had bank accounts that was closed. I'm talking about they shut it down. Like my life as what I once knew was very much declining. That was kind of like my rock bottom moment. And it's in a place that I do not know. And I'm really much physically by myself. So yeah. And you know what I'm saying? I was still talking with my son mama. Shout out to her because she really helped me during that beginning of that time to really much process everything I was going through. And pretty much I had to, you know what I'm saying, let her go because I really had to cut the relationship because I felt like, and I'm gonna keep it above. I felt like I was bypassing her from doing the inner work because she had a lot of inner work that she needed to do, and I felt like she was distracting herself by being around people that was on some bullshit that was playing her face basically. And because I had to tell her, and it was at a certain point, I don't want each other to become a detriment at a certain point of our own spirituality. And it hurted that I had to really much have to let the relationship go because she really did help me spiritually a lot and brought a lot of clarity into, and I was very advancing really fast. So pretty much I had to cut connections. She was the only person that I was in consistent communication with. I was in communication with my cousin, the one that lived with me, but she was playing my face too. And I had to cut her ass off because I don't fuck with my auntie. I don't. I don't fuck with her. So I know she was being used as a flying monkey just to surfer information. I eventually caught on to this shit. And I cut her ass off. So basically, I did not talk with nobody like on the phone or nothing. Like I did have my Instagram, but I realized the people that was following me, that was watching my stories, all of that shit, that seemed like they was supporting me was really playing my face too. They was monitoring spirits. So it was like to the point, all of this shit, and mind you, like it's so much that contributes to this shit, but pretty much to let you know, I had to cut all that shit off. I had to like start like clean slate. I didn't understand at the point why I was going through what I was going through until later on, but it was just like to the point that shit really took a mental toll during that time. But in a beautiful sense, it led me to really much sit my ass down and heal and deeply get into the healing process and the deep inner work process. And I learned so much during them times because, mind you, like it was a Starbucks over there, and I was at Starbucks for the most part. Like I was really much, I was drawing, I was writing music, I was like I was just doing a lot of things like to really occupy my mind. Like I bought some puzzles and really much, I was in my own little world. And it was a lot of people. I've met all walks of life, and shout out to all the people that really much helped me during them times. And I was having a lot of conversations with people that was from there, but I wasn't from there, and a lot of people was like, it was beautiful conversations. I ain't gonna lie, like I'm the type like I'm a social butterfly, but I am also an introvert. So I'm having conversations with everybody. I'm learning from everybody. I'm learning, but at a certain motherfucking point, I started getting annoyed because with me, I advance really fast mentally. Like I outgrow a lot of places really fast. And it's something that was very irritating. I'm not gonna lie, it was very irritating because it's like once I know I'm outgrowing, that means to the point where I feel lonely. Like I feel very much alone. And being alone, because I've been alone my whole entire life, so this is not my first time around the rodeo, but I'm out on my motherfucking own. So it would just be like to me very just dope to have somebody that get it. But unfortunately, people around me, the environment, they were surface based. They were surface minded, and I learned so much. And I tried to relay the information to them, but it just go one ear out the other. And that was 90% of the people I was like conversation at that point, to the point I felt like I was repeating myself through like to different people. And I get it, but it's like to the point people kind of confused me as a therapist and was talking my ears off with their problems, all of that. And that was very frustrating because I'm handling what I'm going through. And they may not know everything. They may know certain, like, of course, like, a lot of people can tell, especially I had a lot of stuff that I was homeless, but it's like to the point, respectfully, I don't want to deal with your baggage. And respectfully, I don't want to hear, like, I'm not the type, like, I don't want to come off as a burden. I don't want to put my problems to other people. I feel like that's why therapy exists. Like, so you can really much pay people to help you. And these people trying to use me as a therapist and don't even pay me. So I'm like, oh no, absolutely fuck not. So I had to really much learn how to enforce healthy boundaries because I never knew what the fuck boundaries was until like around that time. Because child, I never been in a, it's like to the point I never mentally understood that she was able to have space or protect that space because I never really had space like that. Like, I grew up being around people. It was people like my family members, some of them that used to, you know what I'm saying, overstep their boundaries and like constantly felt entitled to my space. And I couldn't put a word on it. It was irritating, but I didn't know that I can very much enforce healthy boundaries because nobody has ever taught me that. So I'm learning boundaries. I'm learning that I have to really much protect my peace and my mental health, especially during these turbulent ass motherfucking times. But people have really helped me out, you know what I'm saying, checked in on me and really much made sure that I was okay. I'm grateful for that. And pretty much overall, being homeless has been like an eye-opening experience. It's not for the weak or the faint. It's not for none of that shit. Like, I'm just very grateful that I overcame so much of that period in my life. And I didn't really understand shit. I was just like just going along, just observing. But it helped me to really much have a more grounded connection with myself, with God Goddess, and to understand my value and my worth. Because I ain't gonna lie, I had a lot of times where it was people playing my motherfucking face that was trying me and was doing some really gutter ass like trifling shit and really much trying to go there with me. But I'm so thankful that I knew better. And it's like I took the higher road and I moved the fuck around. Like to the point I ain't gonna lie, I made mistakes here and there. I made a lot of mistakes. But I just feel like it was a trial and error moment for me to learn from my mistakes and learn from the situations and the scenarios that I was in to really much like apply and grow and really much do things differently. Like you can't expect to do the same thing, expect different results. Like you gotta do different or to see different. So it's like I came to understanding that. And also it really helped me to really honor silence because again, like I grew up being silent and just being more of like an observer to a lot of things around me. And silence could really protect you from a lot of things. Silence can really save you from a lot of things. And also no matter what you believe in, like you are entitled to your beliefs and all of that, but I do feel like God is holds all space in silence, holds so much space in silence because that's where you're able to listen to yourself, hear yourself learn, and have a more grounded sense and awareness of things and processing and through silence. So it's like the point, and it's just been a lot of, what I'm saying, has really much protected me from a lot of things like going on like really much behind the scenes. And I do honor like really much protect your plans too because you don't want to let the wrong person. And it's like the point I don't want to put in that narrative like, oh, you can't trust nobody, all this, blah, blah, blah. Like it's you can't like in order to trust yourself, it's a lot of people that is outside from you that cannot trust themselves and really much don't trust you. And I don't want to have that halfling narrative that is all and it's not all. It may be a lot, it may be majority, but it's not all. It's certain people that do marry you that can't trust themselves, that can trust you, and you can trust them. It's people that's out there. And I just want to, let that known. Let that be known. I learned that it is people that wants to see the best version of you that do unconditional love and support you. And I've seen a lot of examples of that. I'm very happy that I was able to receive that type of understanding because a lot of people, it's like stuck on that. It's like have a consciousness of doom and always expect the worst out of things. And I am very grateful that I have a natural sense of alchemy to the point I'm able to learn that not everybody's out to get me. That is people that truly divinely care about me. And that God Goddess lives in all things and everything. And mind you, like I was like really much going through so much. It's like layers upon layers, like I keep saying. But the number one thing is me being a trans femme being was like that was kind of like the cherry on top for me because it's like I was no hormones at that time and pretty much like going along through all of this and navigating through all of this. It was just like the point. I used to be somebody that I'm a shapeshifter, so I dress in many different forms. I am a girly girl, but I'm also a tomboy, naturally. So it's like the point. I like to mix blend with both of them. And I guess when all my clothes was taken, I was literally down to like one outfit. And that was like literally a hoodie and some jogger pants. So I was more bush presenting and I was very it infuriated me because I'm a type of person I honor hygiene. I wasn't able to wash up every day. I wasn't able to switch in clothes or, have a girly girl moment. And it also was triggering where it was a lot of people that was consistently, I'm talking about misgendering me left to right. Cause I was in a space in Chicago that I did have the misgendering. I had people that was misgendering, but I did also have people that was on the she and her pronouns. At a certain point, especially when I was going through my transitioning. So by the time I left, I was sheeing her down boobs. And when I moved to my apartment, it was sheeing her because I didn't go outside like that. I was a homebody, I ain't gonna lie. But being outside and having to live outside, it was just like he and him, it was like to the point I really wanted to wreak havoc. I really wanted to go the fuck off. I really did. And mind you, it's certain people that did see the she and her. Like naturally, it was certain people that really like confused me as a cis woman at certain times. And it's like to the point I appreciated that. But it was just like it's like I invested so many years of this transition and I felt like at this point it's just going way backwards. Like everything is being like reversed. And I just like a lot of time I didn't know how to process that motherfucking shit. And mind you, like I grew irritated. And I'm not a jealous person, but I was very aggravated, you know what I'm saying, not having a home, not be able to pretty much do have the bare necessities and all of that shit, all that. And it's like some motherfucking point. I'm seeing people that's able to have access to that. It helps me to learn to, you know, saying be appreciative of everything, no matter what it to be appreciative, even to the things of walking and breathing and talking off that. Because a lot of times people take advantage of that shit and don't even realize how good they have until when they lose it. So I just want to always honor that. Put my period in another motherfucking thing. I'm learning so much that I couldn't really speak out, but it was something very important during them times of being homeless that I had to work on that I wasn't able to really fully understand. Because I ain't gonna lie, I had a half of a mindset at that time. No shit, I'm gonna keep it transparent. I was a halfling. I was going more on some halfling shit. So I'm trying to have this goal of coming back to my, you know what I'm saying, my fam girl, all of this, but it's like to the point, my transition and everything should not and will not have to really much be just about clothing. Because it's not even just about that. It's not even close to being about that. It was some spiritual root work internally that I had to work on. And it's not just with my femininity, it's also with my masculinity and very much the past version of my masculine self before I transitioned. And that part, I want to call it the survival masculine that did not have a safe space. So it's just so interesting and ironic that all of this is going on, that I don't have access to many things at this motherfucking point. And now I'm back in butch presentation mode. Like, I'm talking about full butch. But I did, you know what I'm saying, I did take care of myself. I did pluck my facial hairs and all that motherfucking shit. So it was like not too much. But it was like to the point, it was a moment that I had to reconnect back to my masculine self. I had to really much sit down and allow him to heal, allow him to like really much grieve everything that he has previously been through, that he wasn't able to process, that he had to really much move along. And I feel like at that time I was running away from that part of myself, and not intentionally, but it was like something, I had so much things going on. As a Gemini, it's so much that be going on, y'all, that another person cannot really process. I'm gonna keep it, but it's just so much going on. So certain things are going to be left out, and that part was very much left out. And this is all when I was in Mesquite. I eventually moved back to Dallas because it was that time. I was there for a year. All of this I've been through. Yeah. So I went back to Dallas, around the area, you know what I'm saying, that I was very familiar with. And mind you, it was a library over there, and it's certain people that I met, you know what I'm saying, before I moved to Mesquite that I was familiar with. And still, I was sleeping outside, still, like, but it's like every day I was going to the library. Like, I was reading books, I was in my own little world, this, that, and the third, and the fourth. And this is around 2020. I think, yeah, this is around 2024, like late 2024, when I officially came back, and pretty much I just at a point at this time where I just stopped talking with people. I just felt like the conversations, the misgendering was it for me. Like, I'm just like, yeah, I'm not, I can only hear so much, because I get it, because, you know, people of Texas, one thing in Chicago, people catch on in Chicago. But Texas, people are very slow in Texas, very slow, very meat-headed. So, to my fucking point, it was a lot of meat-headed activity and conversations. Jesus, he and him, Lord Savior, is going on that I wasn't fucking with. And mind you, there's no shade to whoever believes in that, but it's like to the point, I wasn't fucking with it. I wasn't even fucking, it does not resonate for me, because that goes hand in hand with the fact that God is, whatever you believe in, that's you. But in my taking this, that God is a part of you. Your mother, like you are your mother and your father, you are your grandmothers and grandfathers. You are whole. And I learned that, but I did not deeply understand it because I wasn't around people that did not get that much. I got it. Like, it's like, I got it. I couldn't put it in wording. I couldn't really express it because I'm dealing with half-minded binary people that only want to see the man. They never want to acknowledge the woman. They never want to acknowledge the mother. They always want to acknowledge the motherfucking dick. And it's like some motherfucking point, we are not fleshly beings. We are spiritual beings having a human experience, period. And I'm still at a motherfucking point, like, I'm deep in my feminine energy, deep in my feminine bag. And it's so triggering when these motherfuckers be misgendering and doing that Jesus shit. It's like some motherfucking point. It was come up like erasing the mother, erasing the feminine energy, and I was not having that motherfucking shit. That was the reason why that I stopped talking with a lot of motherfuckers. That was slowly the reason why, and I was keeping my distance from a lot of motherfucking people. Even when I expressed my views, it was to the point I feel like I had to get into an argument that I have to have a cringy, uncomfortable conversation just so, child, we could come to a common understanding, because I'm dealing with surface-minded motherfucking people. And mind you, like, even being in these spaces, there was no community. I don't really fuck, like, Dallas is a very beautiful place, beautiful scenery, great gowns, beautiful gowns. But there's no community in Texas. Texas do not fuck with the girls. Texas do not fuck with none of the LGBT, so it was just very weird to see a lot of people of my siblings in my community come here and praising Texas and just like coming this bitch so confidently, like, this place don't fuck, this place no resonation for none of us. And I'm in spaces sometimes with, you know, say my siblings, no matter if they was trans or gay or lesbian, whatever. And these motherfuckers are out of touch with reality. They act like they shit do not stink, and they feel like they can wave their nose up in the air. It was just like they have a dildo stuck deep in their ass. And it's like to the point, very unfriendly, very motherfucker. And mind you, it was some siblings that was really cool. Some, a little bit. I can only name two, to be honest. I'm gonna keep it a buck. But the rest was trash. The rest was motherfucker trash. It was actually more straight people that really helped me out during the motherfucking times more than my own siblings. It's no fucking community there. It's bullshit. So I'm just like, I'm of a question like, why did I come here? Like, it's like to the point, I really, I heard about Dallas a lot, and I heard about this pipeline of a lot of beings from Chicago coming from Chicago to Dallas, and that wasn't my reasoning. I felt I had a different resonation with, and mind you, the only reason I came to Dallas because it was about a family that lived down here. So point, it's a more familiar place I can move to just in case. But since I cut all my family off, and I don't want to come off as reaching out of nowhere just to seek, you know what I'm saying, help, you know what I'm saying? I don't want to come off as that, if you know what I mean. So that's the reason why, and my pride was too high. So that's the reason why some of my family that lived down there, I didn't reach out to. And I didn't have no bad blood. It was just, that was a simple motherfucking fact. Maybe if I talked with them more before I moved, that would be one thing, but I didn't talk with them, and I know they got their own things going on. So that's the reason why I'm like, I stay more to myself. So at this point, I'm trying to seek something. I'm trying to seek some form of community, especially not in like in person, not around my environment because it's ass. But I tend to want to seek somewhere, some space on social media, especially like mostly on YouTube because I really like YouTube. I want to hear people's mindsets. I want to hear people's thoughts. I want to hear people's views. I like to learn. So I was like a lot of things in my algorithm, a lot of videos was a lot of like some of my siblings, and I watched some of their videos, but it's giving halfling, it's giving man. It's like to the point the woman is always left the fuck out. It was giving Father King. It was giving all that, and it was like at a certain point, I'm also peeping that it's certain beings that be playing in people's faces, that be trying to gatekeep and capitalize off of people's ignorance and breadcrumbing information and full clarity to people just for people to keep investing into their content, into their platforms. And I'm peeping all this shit, and I'm starting not even just that, but it also be other videos that I was tuning into when it came to the form of tarot reading and this, that, and third, because I did tune into a lot of tarot reading, especially during just for like clarity to make sure that if this is the right track that I'm on. And this was like going on a lot when I moved down here. I was watching a lot of content, and I had to fall back from a lot of people because it was some weird shit going on with those videos and those people. So I'm really much at a point I was about to like really cut off from YouTube and Instagram. I don't talk with nobody on the thing anyway. So at a point I was about to go solo dolo at this motherfucking point. Then around, I think where the Orange Cheeto, when he got elected, it was, and mind you, like, I'd be like, watching my, you know what I'm saying, my series, movies, all this motherfucking shit too. And something was going on around this time. And mind you, like, I'll just be scrolling on my timeline on YouTube, and pretty much it was something with T.S. Madison bringing up Oracle. It was some situation that went down, and T.S. Madison was trying to throw hella shade and announce her shade on one of her motherfucking the Fag Speaks talk bullshit, whatever. And it was like to the point I'm watching, and then it's this another trans YouTuber, I don't want to say her name, that responded to T.S. Madison, called T.S. Madison out on it, and publicly defended Oracle. And I'm over here like really much like take all this shit like what the fuck is going on? And I was actually with the trans YouTuber, and I just feel like the situation of what happened, it just did not make perfect. It didn't make no type of logical sense to me. And I'm like, why is you bullying this lady? Why are you trying to throw shade at this lady? And this lady didn't do nothing to you. Like it was like to the point it was weird. And I'm telling you, right after all this going on, Oracle's video started to pop up on my timeline on YouTube. And mind you, I was just like I was in my own little world, and I'm over here just like doing, and I'm seeing her content, and I'm watching her content, and I'm watching her respond to what's going on, and I was like just peeping that it was like to the point, the things that she was saying was just very profound. It was like very like her whole vibe was very unique to me, very eccentric. And I didn't know she was a Gemini at this time. I was just like really much observing where her mind, where her mind is, where her thoughts is. And a lot of things that she was saying, because I was watching other videos too, it was everything that I was thinking that I wasn't able to speak out loud or speak to people. She was saying it. Like everything, it was starting to resonate on a different frequency. But this time, it was just like, it was something like extraordinary that was happening when she was speaking, because my soul, it started to like really, it's like things started to click. It just started like, it's like the webs or like the signal started to, like the wires started to connect with each other and started to like operate something bigger. And mind you, like I meet all walks of life. Everybody's different. And it's certain beings that, I've came across that was part of my previous soul tribe. And that's how I met my soul mama in that tribe. But the main person that orchestrated the tribe, I call him basically the leader of the tribe, he really much helped me spiritually, like on some other shit. Like it's like to the point, he helped me advance really, really quickly, really fast spiritually, because he was like very powerful. But unfortunately, I had to come up because he had potential of wholeness. I didn't know what the fuck it was, but it was wholeness that he was embodying. But it was the wrong people that was in the tribe that was like fulfilling his ego. I'm talking about doing some shit behind the scenes that made him revert back to a halfling and try to orchestrate a cult. Later on, and I didn't realize what was going on. I had a dream about what was going on, but I didn't understand what was really happening until after I had to leave the whole tribe. But I still had more connections with another tribe member, and she was very powerful too, but she was still within the tribe, so it was just like to the point. Later, we fell off, but she did help me a lot. What was going on aside from all that shit, she did help me. Shout out to her. But it was just me and my son. I was still in contact, so he really, like, I ain't gonna lie, I love that man. I did. Like, child, like, it's rare beings that can put you on a timeline and like really much like skyrocket you to a whole nother level in your life. And it's rare. This never happened. This never happened. So I'll tell you, Oracle embodied that, and it intensified. Like, intensified heavily. Like, it was so groundbreaking of the things that she was sharing, because no other bitch is saying what she's saying. Like, it's like when she's saying the quiet things out loud. Like, she's saying a lot of shit. Even some of her lives, she was helping me reconnect with my masculine part of myself and help me to grow more resonation and more like, it's like a click of everything that I was going through, especially being in much presentation of why I had to go through that. And it was a calling from my masculine side. It was a calling, and mind you, I was hearing my birth name a lot. I don't want to say my birth name on this, but I was hearing my birth name and like kind of like symbolism. It was other people that I was in spaces. I used to go to other like restaurants, and I used to chill in there too. Like the managers and stuff was cool with me. It was somebody that had the same birth name I did. It was very consistent. And by the time Oracle said a lot of things, like the process of, you know what I'm saying, your transition, all of this, and the grooming process, when I tell you, it was at a certain point where I heard it, it kind of like, it triggered me, but it's not like a bad triggering, but it was kind of like I broke the wall. Like she helped me break the wall. Something that I couldn't put my finger on, but it finally clicked, and I started crying because it was like my soul was relieved. That's like to the point I was able to break through something with her help that I wasn't even able. So it was like the point, the knowledge that the gems that she was dropping some rocket launchers of gems, like some grenades of gem grenades. It was like to the point I was advancing spiritually really, really fast after that. And that's incorporated with my transition. That's crazy in good ways. Because I'm always trying to run away, and the whole time I just needed to acknowledge and to merge and integrate and give myself a safe space to finally heal properly in a whole sense, in wholeness. And when she kept saying these things, now I'm able to reconnect. I stopped running. I was able to reconnect with my masculine and actually acknowledge my masculine self and realize that is a part of me, because we are our mothers and fathers. It's like the point we are both masculine and feminine. We may be dual in both, but a lot of times, in a lot of cases, we may resonate, we'll have more dominant with our feminine or more dominant with our masculine, but at the end of the day, we are still whole within both. So she's really really acknowledging it, really speaking on it. And it's like the point I was more intrigued, to the point I engaged more with her lives, and I engaged more with her content, and because everything started to resonate more than ever resonated ever. Because it's like the point people just be, motherfuckers be talking whoopily hoopla on the fucking social media. They be performing, doing all this, but child, tap dance, all this shit. And to have somebody that's not gatekeeping clarity, somebody that's not playing people's faces, but really much helping the souls and spirits to break the shackles and get out of the jail cells and finally live in full autonomy and sovereignty, that's very rare. And I'm hearing parts of her story, and I'm like, to the point, she's not any ordinary person. Like, she is somebody that is very sacred, that is very special. And I was just like, I was thinking when I was seeing her, I'm like, she looks very familiar. Like, I know her soul is familiar to me the more that, you know what I'm saying, I'm watching her content and learning more about her and everything that she has gone through. But I'm just like, she looks very familiar. And I couldn't put my finger on what it was, but it finally, at a certain point, finally clicked. I'm like, oh, I seen her years ago. And mind you, like, this around the time, I'm in a different headspace. I was watching a lot of trans content at this time. It was a Tea Time Network YouTube channel that hosts panels of trans women on it. And it was one panel that it was all these beautiful trans women, and Oracle was one of the girls, and it was another girl I recognized. It was Sade. I like Sade. But it was these other women as well, and they were talking about possibility, politics, and very much all that good stuff and more, and how they show up into the world. And I remember, and I just like, it clicked because I went back to the video. I'm like, oh, that's Oracle. And mind you, at this motherfucker time, I'm like, oh my gosh, at that time, when I was watching it, it was funny because I'm like, this is a very beautiful woman. but her energy was very vibrant. It's like a vibe, like a party, like a celebration. And I was just saying, I'm like, she had some curly, beautiful hair. I remember what stood out to me is the fact that she did say that she did have a sex change. And I'm like, okay. And everybody was speaking their piece in it and was allowing other girls to like really much speak when it came to certain things. So by the time, fast forward, when I'm watching her content, I'm like, oh, what a full circle moment. And mind you, like, it's other beautiful women that was the moderators of her lives that basically became more of our tribe later on. But it was certain points where Oracle, it's like Oracle Lives was like a communion for the girls. Like it was like one of the spaces for the girls. And pretty much we was creating things within the space of Laylim Layler. So we was coming up with, you know what I'm saying, new words, and we was coming up with so many things. And we thought of one of a subspace within the nation, and I contributed into, you know, come up with the word. We decided that we wanted to build or create a school-like space for people to learn more deep about wholeness and Laylim Layler and the whole entire space. And I came up with the thought, like, how ironic. I came up with the Purple School of Thought. It's like the point, I don't remember much of the details, but I kind of like condensed it to, how about Purple Thought? Or something like that. And it resonated with Oracle, and pretty much that was kind of like the origins of the beginning stages of how Purple Thought was created. So we kept really much consistently talking about, you know, Purple Thought and it becoming not just a school, but a safe space for people to ground and merge into their wholeness in a safe space without any interference of the male society or these motherfucking weird ass halflings trying to motherfucking come in between that. And this I could say for all of us, like we live in a very half-ass, very half-minded, very like backwards, lopsided, binary system in society where it's literally has to be one or the other. It can never be both. Because having a dual mindset can really much break the system. It can shatter it. So even if that we try to, you know what I'm saying, bring out into the universe of a dual perspective and a dual sense of self, you know what I'm saying, a lot of times there are people that be sent to, you know, cause division, distractions, and conflict to really much steer people away from wholeness and back into a rabbit hole of that binary bullshit, that halfling ass bullshit. So, and people be coming to lives trying to cast that Jesus bullshit spells, that dumb religious psychosis spells to trigger motherfucking people. And it was like to the point we needed a protection of this space because this is a sacred, Laylim Layler is a very sacred sanctuary. It's a space that needs to be protected at all costs away from these beings. This space has to be gatekept in a reasonable sense because we do not want this to become tainted. Because I learned this even being in Chicago, how much you have to protect a space like this, because I remember that, and it didn't come off to me as a potential safe space, but I did have an opportunity to start something, and it was this was like years in the making for me. This was years in the making. Like when I was in high school, the name of it, to really much keep it a buck, it was a name called Twisted Fantasy that I came up with like when I was very young. I didn't know what I wanted to do with it at that time, but I did use the word a lot. So I think in 2020 or 2021, it resurfaced, and it's around the time I had it was the money scamming times at that time. A lot of people was getting coin, allegedly. So allegedly, I was granted some coin. So um, I was thinking, I'm like, how should I really much? It was kind of like in a sense, how do I build or add more venue, financial venue to, what I'm saying, what I already have. And it was a business opportunity, and I came up with Twisted Fantasy. And I'm like, wow, like this can really much take somewhere else into like in a whole different direction, like in a beautiful direction. And I didn't even come up with that yet, but I started making logos. I started to like really much take this shit from the soil, like really much take the shit from the ground. And it was turning something beautiful, and I did release it. I told everybody about it, and the thing was I wasn't able to make the shirts yet. I was gonna want to get the shirts made, but I tried to ask one of my aunties to make it because she was making shirts, but she was playing my face. I feel like it could have went to a beautiful direction, a very wholesome direction, but it actually went to shit because it was support. I ain't gonna lie, one of my cousins actively supported it because I did sell lashes and other things, but I didn't know. And I remember one of my cousins I was living with, she was telling me like this could really much take off into like a direction like something more than fashion, something more than just selling merch of this. And I was thinking, I'm like, maybe this can hold space for other artists. This is at the time. This can hold space for community. Like this can like really much be something special with community to really much utilize different art pieces because Twisted Fantasy to me was like infinite creation, infinite imagination type shit. It like I was making the logos very random for a reason. So this could really much hold space for a community. And I feel like this shit got ruined because I was around motherfuckers that it be times, it be people that seem like they in support of you. And a lot of times it be your blood family. And sometimes they may support it for their own benefit, but not much support. They don't want it to get too big, but they want to make sure that they have their hand in it. They want to make sure their names be told. So, child, when the benefits, if the benefits come, they want to put their hands, they want to feel entitled to that shit. Or it's some other beings that don't want the shit to happen at all because they are intimidated. And that shit that was going on with this. So eventually the whole thing went to shit. And I wanted to revamp it when I was in Dallas, but I wasn't even able to. And that's where the time I became homeless. So the whole thing, it pisses me off. Like it really pisses me off because it could have really took in another direction and it got ruined being in the wrong area, in the wrong environment, around the wrong people that was preying on it. I think starting a business like this has really opened my eyes to really much show who is really in my corner, who's not. And it was very revealing, especially promoting, because it started off as a business to me. Um, and I was on Facebook at the time, and mind you, I followed so many people that was from the alternative community, the LGBT community, like very much beings that embody, individuality, this, that, and the third. And you know what I'm saying? I see everybody supporting everybody else, you know what I'm saying? I know like it's rare to come across a trans being to do something like this. This is something that is very new. But I just really much assume that whoever it was like subscribing to my content that's friends with me on Facebook, and they support my content, stuff like that, especially when I'm posting pictures. But it's like to the point I'm testing the waters, like, okay, let's see how deeply supportive that y'all really is. So once I even put it out, it was like to the point I see people monitoring, but it was no people. I didn't like. I don't get me wrong. I got some support. I'm grateful for that. But the people that I expected to show up and support was never there. And mind you, I'm the type of person like I want to support all the beings, all the girls, all the guys, everybody. That's just my nature. So once I'm seeing me putting out something that's very special and monumental, the same beings that I'm pouring to and I'm consistently supporting is not doing the same for me. But I test the waters again because as a Gemini, I like to shake the damn table. I like to ruffle feathers. So I'm saying some controversial shit. And them same motherfucking people that was paying me dust all of a sudden want to motherfucking speak their opinion of disagreeing of the things that I was saying. So I'm like, oh, and I clocked their ass. I'm like, oh, so you support in disagreements, or pretty much if I'm looking all dolled up, but when it comes to something important and monumental as this, oh baby, where the fuck you at? And I'm like, oh, it was like that right there. I had to add in this podcast, like, wow. Wow. And pretty much that was a deep level of awareness that I really observed, that I really, took note, like, oh, wow. It was apparent to me, not even just family. And I had some friends, I was talking with that time. I don't think I was in communication with a lot of people. But it just lets me know who's really in your corner and who's really not, type shit. And I was just like, the girls was not ready for this type of shit. Because when I'm saying this could really help community, I look at in an advanced sense, like ahead of time, this can hold space, a very safe space for community to really much, be their authentic self and express their artistic vision in a very healthy sense. And I was just like, I haven't really thought this motherfucker deep while I was going through this, but it was just like that part of me, it really, as what it hurted me. Um, Once you start to like really realize the people that seemed like they were supporting you at that time was literally monitoring spirits that were just observing your life to see how far you go. And pretty motherfucking much, that's when I realized the people on Facebook was not my people. And mind you, it was one of my cousins that supported a lot of. It was like one cousin, and I was like putting out lashes, glasses, and necklaces as a start. And she supported my lash line like consistently. So I shout out to her. And she's not the cousin I was living with, but she's one of my next door neighbors that I consider family. And so it was just like to the motherfucker point, oh, I got it type shit. Pretty much, just to add this, I don't expect, or I feel like, they don't owe me anything when it comes to like support like this. But I just feel like it's very deeply disappointing that at least I don't really like expect you to like very much purchase anything, but at least, say acknowledge and share the post at least. But it's like to the point just to not acknowledge nothing at all and cherry pick, like that shit is wild to me. And for this to really help evolve community and them to like really much, pull these stunts or pull these routes, like it was a side eye just to put that out there. But I'm healing from it. It's like it's okay. It's okay. Like it's a learning lesson type shit. And that's where I was just like, oh, never again. Like that kind of made me it hurted me. It really hurted me. That I invested something that was years in the making, and it become ruined like that. So I tend to be strategic of the things that I say and the projects that I want to put out. And especially like this space, like I don't want this to be accessible to everybody that's not doing the inner work. So when I tell you a space like Purple Thought to me, I feel like it's another reincarnated space that needs to be protected. I don't play about this type of shit because I don't be in spaces like this where it's a safe space or it's a space that I'm not having my vulnerability weaponized or preyed on or manipulated or gaslit. Like I'm finally in a space where I'm finally, and it's saying it like this, I ain't gonna lie, it's like to the point I finally can say in my life, I finally feel heard, seen, and valued by beings that reflect a highest form of myself or a form that is not of surface base. So I was really much like deep into investing in space and watching this space grow and expand. And Oracle, you know what I'm saying, I felt like she needs to be protected at all costs. And anything that she contributed to creation of need to be protected. So I'm very fierce about my protection when it comes to this shit because I already learned being in Chicago of how this shit can go. So eventually, thank you to a beautiful sibling. I'm grateful for her. She did invest in creating a Zoom chat space where that we can hold Purple Thought. And shout out to her. I don't want to say her name. I don't want to say people's names. I don't know if they're comfortable with me putting them out on Jump Street. But she really much helped the space expand. And that's where Oracle invited me and the other moderators that was consistent in the protection of the live space and all of that to join the space. And that's where we eventually transitioned from YouTube and we moved on to the Zoom chats. And that's where Oracle really stopped doing much of the lives at that time. And we made a old dedication that we were going to go on every Sunday and really much unpack. Really much wherever that we need to stay, whatever. It's like to the point the floor is ours, like the microphone is ours. So it's like it's our space and need to be protected. I don't want to give in detail because I do honor the space sacredness. So a lot of conversations I'm going to leave out. But overall, it was a learning experience with me and the other my beautiful siblings. It was like Oracle, me, it was like 5 of us in this one space. Mind you, we be in the spaces of YouTube in the comment section, so to see them in person, that's more different. It is different because you're more intimate. Like to the point, I'm learning so much, but it was at a motherfucking certain point. I can tell that there is some work that needs to be done in this space. And I'm going to just leave it at that. It's some work that needs to be done. Like, I love everybody. I wish the best for everybody. And it's just like to the point. And it's not like I'm saying this so vague for a reason, but this space needs to be very much not just revamped, but I think we have to hold her off a little bit because I just feel like this is a space that it has to be really much reciprocated with everybody. Everybody got to contribute accountability and responsibility in it. It needs to be some alchemy. That's what I want to say. It needs to be some alchemy. So aside from that, like me and Oracle be having our own conversations. Like we be talking outside from the space too. So we was going to bond there. I do feel like she is pretty much like one of my soul mothers. So it's like to a point we're holding space and I'm home. I'm still homeless at this point. This is around like this June or July, like this year. And I'm documenting so much, but I'm telling them bits and pieces, but I didn't want to tell them yet that I was homeless because I don't want worry. I don't want nobody to worry. Like, I know, cause it's already been 2 years past, so I'm already used to it. Like, I already used to the whole everything. I know how to navigate. I know how to move. So it's like the point. I feel like I'm okay, but I did tell them eventually, and they was very reciprocal about that. They was very concerned, but and and Oracle, I ain't gonna lie, shout out to her. Like, she really like looked out for me when she had it. When she had things, she'll give it to me. She'll share it with me, and I'm grateful for that. I'm very grateful for that. And shout out to the D spacecraft because Oracle is in spaces with the D spacecraft, and she was telling them about my situation, and basically they because they did see me on Instagram and stuff. Like, I do follow them, and we was like, you know what I'm saying, I was liking their posts here and there, you know what I'm saying, this, that, and the third. And they was telling her that they have space for me if I'm ever wanted to come over here. And Oracle has relayed the message to me, and at first I declined it because I want to make sure I want to come with something to, you know, say reciprocate. I didn't really have nothing, and I love how they was very understanding, and I didn't ever feel no pressure. They did not want me to feel pressure to join if I'm not ready to go. And it was like to the point, I'm so used to, you know, say always being by myself and being back in spaces. We're having to live with beings like that right there. I'm very hesitant because no shade, and there's no shade. It's just growing up around people. It was just like I felt like being in a space back in Chicago. I feel like I had to walk on eggshells. It felt like a war zone, and I'm not even prepared for a battle. And a battle is coming my way with these motherfucking beings try to blindside me. All of this. That's really how I feel. I had good moments, no shade, but that's how I feel overall. So it's like to the point, do I want to have that experience? Not like the war zone, but to live with other beings, because living with people, it's not easy. Like, y'all have to, it takes a tribe, it takes understanding and communication to help make this space, you know what I'm saying, balance. So good thing Oracle is, and everybody in the space, it's a balance. So, but I'm in a sense like I'm not, you know what I'm saying, I haven't been in this state. This is my first time ever being consistent with community. Cause mind you, I'm around mostly straight people my whole entire life. My cousins, they do identify with the community. They are identified as bisexual and lesbian. But it's like support. I've never been consistent around community like this. Like, I be around community when I was in Chicago. I had a trans mother, and we was in the same hood, and she lived up the street from me. But I didn't see her every day. Like, it's like the point. It's once in a blue moon with me being around community, and to be back with community consistently, to be with community consistently. That's something I ain't gonna lie, is new for me. Like, I be in spaces online, but in person, that's not the case. So, and I felt like, and I was learning because I was praying about it to see like, oh, if this is for me. And it also, you know what I'm saying, helps me to not just connect with community, but to see how community shows up and, you know what I'm saying, presents themselves, how they, you know what I'm saying, how they operate everything in person. So I feel like at a certain point, I may not have what I want, but it's just like it would be a beautiful opportunity just to join spaces, because I feel like, and I learned like, even when times is hard and all of this, you have community to lean on to help you. Because I felt like I was a lone wolf. So I just feel like at a certain point, I feel like I got this on my own. Like, to the point, it was nothing new for me, but I was learning through when people was helping me in Texas and all of this, you know what I'm saying, checking in with me, financially take care of me as well. Do certain times. Like I learned like you deserve support, you deserve help. Like you don't always have to do this shit because I feel like you can't do this shit out on your own. You can't. And I feel like it's beautiful representation just to see beings like this to show you healthy examples. Like there is support. There's people that you can trust. There's people that love you and that want to see the best version of you. And as rare as to see that, it's beautiful to like witness it around these times and witness it more consistently. It doesn't have to be a once in a blue moon. It's more consistent. Because, mind you, I did have allies, potential allies that was in my family that could have been supporting all of me. But interesting enough, something has happened to them, either like a medical issue or either they got knocked off, no shade, they got knocked off and they back in the spirit world. And the beings that I was consistently around with was performative allies and that was really playing in my face and was doing shit behind my back. So just to have people that reflect me, finally, like I am not even just relief, but it's like to the point I am in full divine gratitude. And it's like I'm not gonna cry, but it's just like to the point it makes my soul relieved deeply, deeply, just like I'm able to relax. Like I'm able to really much like I feel safe type things. And mind you, like the divine was giving me signs like I need to move the fuck around because this around time I've been tested for like 3 years. I've been homeless for two years plus. I've been in Mesquite for like a whole year, and it's like the point I was going back and forth from Dallas to Mesquite, and I stay in Mesquite mostly. I came back to Dallas like July 2024, and this was around the time. This was like September of this year, so it's just like to the point I'm in the library, I know everybody. I'm having conversations with the people around me, and some other people was homeless too. So it's like the point we was having conversations. It was a park. I was in the park a lot too. So I was moving around a lot in that area. But at this certain point, especially, you know what I'm saying, joining Purple Thought sessions every Sunday, I had to find like a quiet space because it was a lot of spaces I was very occupied. I don't want, because mind you, I don't give a fuck what, you know what I'm saying? I don't give a fuck what people think when it comes to me talking and socializing, but I just feel like certain information needs to be sacred. I don't want information going in the wrong ears. I don't want, you know what I'm saying, like I don't want, because I'm very animated when I talk, so it's like to the point, I know how I give, but I just did not feel safe in those spaces to really much give that. And I don't want to filter my words, I don't want to have to, you know, code switch my words, I don't want to do none of that. I don't care to do it. But it's at this point, I'd rather prefer to be in a quiet space where there's no people around. But I was able to find that space. But it's just like to the point, I just felt like I just wanted to get away from people, all in all, even other than the space. Like, at this point, I learned so much, I overcame so much, and I also learned, like, 2023, because 2023 was a Saturn retrograde, and it started on my birthday, June 17th. Whole time coming to this year, I learned that it was my Saturn return. If you don't know what Saturn return is, I advise you to like do your research, but pretty much when you're born, that's your first Saturn return. That's where your Saturn in your chart returns. And it's like to the point, I think every 20 or 30, it's like every time before you hit a certain age, before I think the start of age of 30, that's where your life goes to shambles, and it's basically helping you to realign and rebuild to your divine alignment of your journey. That basically is a unique path that's not a traditional sense, but a unique sense. And that's what happened. The reason why I was homeless, everything, because I was going through all that. Because I seen signs that I was in my state to return this shit. And when I tell you that clicked, so it was like everything was being torn down to be rebuilt, and I'm able to be help rebuild my life with the help of community. And it's like to the point, it's so sensational just to come with clarity with that, because for the life of me, I felt like I was running like a headless chicken at a certain point. And I was just going with the flow, but now I learned all of this. So now I finally learned the signs that I need to go. You know, people was trying to with me. People were trying to test me to go out. People was trying to test me. And at a certain point, I pick and choose my battles, because I don't want nobody to feel like they have control over my emotions or the way that I speak. So I'm very strategic on how I move. So it's like to the motherfucking point, I keep it really cute. Especially I'm by myself in Texas. If I was in Chicago, I'll cut the fuck up. Shit, I know I got back up. But in Texas is a different story. I already learned through a certain traumatic situation here. So I keep it real cute. So, and I honor silence too. I honor silence. So at a certain point, I was about to decline the request to join. But when I tell you I was so over it, being in that area, I was so fucking over it. It was like to the point, I was having shutdown moments. Like I was shutting down from people, and just like I was mentally checking out. Like I feel like I was on autopilot at a certain point. And I just learned, like, you know what I'm saying? I had somebody, and he was gay. And he was looking after me, and I appreciate that, baby. I do. But it was just like, there was nothing for me here. Shit was just like, it just wasn't giving. It wasn't giving. Things was not hitting the same like it used to. It was just like going on a whole different paradigm. And I was just like, okay, this is my call. This is my time. This is my cue to move. And mind you, it's about to be winter. So it's like the point. I feel like it's best for me to go to community. Go to a healthy space of community. And Oracle paid for my transportation, everything out of her pocket. And now I'm here. And basically, I'm so grateful that I listened to myself. I listened to the signs, because there was other signs going on around the environment that lets me know, like, okay, it's time for me to go. Like I'm outgrowing. I outgrew the space, but I'm really outgrowing. It's being more apparent. So now I'm in a more healthy space. I'm healing. I'm healing every fucking day. And it's like to a point, I feel more grounded in my wholeness. I feel more connected with myself, and I feel more connected with community. And I don't regret nothing. And it's like to the point, I'm grateful everything happened the way it happened, no matter the good, the bad, the trifling, the butt ass ugly. Like, I'm grateful for all of that, because it helped shape and mold me to sharpen and shape myself and mold myself to be the best version of me. And I'm grateful I never gave up. Because, child, I had a lot of dark days. I had plenty of dark days, so I don't get it twisted. Especially being out on my own, sleeping outside. But I'm grateful that I had the willpower, that I learned my power to really much overcome every obstacle I've been through, leading from being in Chicago, being in Texas, and now, you know what I'm saying, moving in a different state. Like, I'm very grateful. I am very, very fucking grateful. I'm very grateful for community. I'm grateful for these spaces. And probably period. I'm done talking our ears off. You know what I'm saying? I thank you for engaging in my story. This is like a brief story. I didn't get deep. But I'm grateful that y'all took the time out to listen, understand, and really much engage in this podcast. You know, staying tuned for more episodes. And that's all for us today. Like, I want everybody to have a very beautiful, wholesome week, and always take care, and always know, Layla Nation, Purple ones, rise. Love y'all.
Just give me a sign. You'll let me